Isuzu forces Seiya, at gunpoint, to go on a date with her. The location turns out to be Amagi Brilliant Park. While roaming around the place, Isuzu introduces Seiya to the various attractions, and it is apparent that all of them are very unsatisfactory. After going once over the park, Isuzu asks Seiya his thoughts about the place, to which he responds very negatively. Just when he's about to leave, Isuzu offers him some croquettes, which turn out to be very delicious. Deciding to know who made them, Seiya follows Isuzu to meet the manager of the park, who is dressed like a princess, Latifa. She describes the park actors are actually residents of the magical kingdom of Maple Land, and if they are not able to get 500,000 customers before July 31st, the park will be shut down. If the park should ever get shut down, everyone who works in it, as well as the entire Maple Land kingdom itself, will cease to exist forever. Fearing what may happen, she asks Seiya for his help by taking over the manager position. In addition to his help, she also tells him that she will give him magical powers by simply kissing him. The next day, Seiya realizes he has the power to read people's minds. Isuzu again takes him to the park, where they proceed to meet some people from Amagi Development. They're the ones who would take over the park once the time expires. One of them recognizes Seiya and tells him not to get close to the losers in the park, or he too will become one. In the park, an assembly is held, where the princess, Latifa, announces the park will be closed in 3 months. Seiya returns to them and announces that he will save them, but later, when he's alone with Isuzu and Latvia, he says that he just claimed it to raise everyone's spirits. Seiya makes an announcement for cast workers saying that the park will be closed for a day due to repairs. When Mafo hits an annoying guest, Isuzu shoots the guest and his family with bullets which cause memory loss. Salama records the fight with her cell phone. Seiya records a promotional video with the Elementario fairies, Latifa and Isuzu wearing swimsuits, but it does not get as many views as expected. Then he uploaded an edited video of the fight, which got many hits, and as a result gave many views to the PV uploaded beforehand. Thanks to Seiya's flawless management, the park's efficiency and visitor count is increasing. And when informed by Isuzu that Mafo, Macaron, and Tirami have some complaints, he decides to let her deal with them instead. But the Elementario fairies show him that instead of looking for a compromise, Isuzu just ends the discussion by threatening them with her gun. Seiya then scolds Isuzu for her behavior, creating a divide between them. And the next day, Latvia asks Seiya to ride the Ferris wheel with her, and on the occasion it is revealed that he has a fear of heights. And when comforted by her, Seiya has the feeling that they have met before. The Amagi Brilliant Park has used all its savings, and there is no money left to keep it running. However, Mafo remembers about their friend Dornell, who went missing after searching for treasure in an abandoned area of the park, and Seiya, Isuzu, Macaron, Tirmi, and Mafo leave to investigate. While facing several traps along the way, Isuzu and Macaron get separated from the others and discover that Dornell was hidden inside the cave all this time, indulging on several hobbies, while Seiya and the others confront Rubrum, the Red Dragon, and learn that Rubrum and the Diggories, a group of mole-like fairies, were running away from a tyrannical empire and given shelter in the park. With the park short on staff, Seiya decides to hold a job interview for new workers, and Isuzu gets herself in serious trouble when she unknowingly eats a fruit that forces her to always tell her mind, leaving her in fear of revealing her true feelings for him. Her troubles are worsened when 3 of the female applicants are the ones she sees in her dreams the previous night, causing her to think that they will either seduce Seiya or replace her as his assistant and secretary. The park is on alert when a group of pirates from Maple Land appear to wreak havoc. With Isuzu, Latfa, Mafo, Macaron, and the Elementario fairies in their custody, it is up to Seiya and the others to make a stand against the pirates and rescue them, all without having the guests realize that it is not an act. Seiya gets a summer cold, but he can't afford to skip school due to his earlier absences. Sento, Macaron, Tirmi, and Mafo wear a realistic suit of his body one person per day and attend school in his stead. On the first day, Isuzu finds a love letter in Kanie's shoe locker, but the sender, Seiya Kanie, had only mixed up his locker with someone else. As Sento tells her inspiring words, Kanie ends up developing feelings for Kanie instead. The next 2 days end up with disgusting incidents due to the mascot's behavior, while the fourth day ends peacefully due to Kanie wearing a suit of a boy to whom Kanie is tried to send the letter originally, Kimura, and lying that all the disgusting acts from Kanie the days before were meant to drive Kanie back to Kimura by making her hate Kanie. Having not improved at all with their attraction due to their lack of teamwork, the Elementario fairies are invited for dinner with Latfa and unwittingly activate the castle's defense system. Trapped inside the castle, the fairies must reinitialize the system from the inside, but to do so, they must pass a series of trials that demand them to work together. Everyone's doing their best, but it seems impossible to reach the goal of 250,000 visitors. Isuzu tells Kanie why Latfa faints so often. It turns out there's an animus-draining curse upon the princess. Amagi Brilliant Park was built to keep Latfa alive. Seiya recalled that the meeting with the princess when he was young, but she looked exactly the same then. Moffel told him that the curse not only affects her health, but also resets her memories and physical development every year. With only 10 days left until the deadline, Seiya hears from Tricken that he found what he asked him to look for, renewing his hopes. Seiya's plan to reach the quota in 10 days involves hosting a soccer match at the park stadium. After convincing the local soccer team to play an important match at the park, Seiya informs the cast that for their plan to work, a large unused area of the park grounds must be sold in order to pay for the expenses and solve their financial problems, to which they agree, and then they spend the following days making preparations for the match. The final day comes at last, and with all the visitors counted and a few hours left to the deadline, Seiya gets in shock knowing that they are only 252 visitors short from reaching the goal. As a last resort, the staff of Amagi Brilliant Park invite all their friends and relatives, reaching the quota in the nick of time. Announcing that it's his last day as manager, Seiya reveals to the others that a huge shopping mall will be established in the land he previously sold, which will help bring guests to the park. Takaya from the Amagi development compliments Seiya for the feat, but also mocks him because the issue with Latfa's condition is yet to be solved, revealing himself as the wizard who cursed her in the first place before fleeing. However, when midnight comes, Seiya and the others discover that the huge quantity of animus gathered in the last weeks was strong enough to break her free from the curse, much to everyone's joy. Seiya then bids farewell to the people of the park. The next day, Seiya returns and assumes his post as the manager of Amagi Brilliant Park, claiming that there is still a lot for him to do.